Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This is Caleb. Nintendo Network is shutting down. Yes, this is basically the end of the whole Wii U and 3DS era. It is finally coming to a close. Of course, first they shut down the Miiverse, and then they shut down the eShop, and now Nintendo Network is finally going offline. There are some games that use Nintendo Network more than others. Some games don't use it at all. Some games use it just for leaderboards, but a lot of games use it for online play. And the thing is about online play is a lot of the games, especially 3DS games, you could play most of the content locally. You know, it doesn't require online. But then there's a game like Splatoon, which is the main topic of this video, where the game was basically completely dependent on the online. The game is basically broken without it. Of course, you can still play the campaign and play the Amiibo missions and the little arcade games and the local play, but of course the main point of the game was the online, and it's going to end in like 2 days. When Miiverse died, part of Splatoon died with it. Of course, the community aspect still went on, of course, and at that point, Splatoon 2 was already out, but Splatoon 1, no Miiverse, you can't see the messages in the plaza anymore, you just see the player names, and you couldn't see any drawings or anything like that, which is unfortunate because the drawings in the Wii U were generally better. Splatoon 2 and 3 uses weird like drawing thing. You can't write text messages, which you could in the first Splatoon game, so you could just literally just write a message, which is fun. And also it was easier to draw using the Wii U gamepad compared to the Switch because it has a stylus, and in my opinion, drawing with that kind of stylus is way better than using a capacitive touchscreen on the Switch. So you don't see the messages anymore, you don't see the drawings and the maps or anything, they just have like the default built-in ones, which is fine, but of course, it's, it's less fun that way. But of course, Splatoon 1 also had exclusive maps, at least more than one, I think. I know Salt Spray Rig was a classic, which never returned for any of the other games. I do like that map, I thought it was a really good map, it was always fun to play on. That never returned, I think there might be a couple others, but either way, some of the maps are different if they did return. Like, for example, Mahi Mahi Resort is completely different. Same thing with, I think, the Hammerhead Bridge. That one's different. And, of course, the special weapons, which are probably the biggest draw of the game, they're not the same. Of course, they did return somewhat in Splatoon 3, but they're not in Splatoon 2 at all. They completely replaced them, and they're no longer overpowered, which is the thing that made them fun and was the whole point of the special weapons to begin with. So having them not be overpowered kind of sucks. So, in general, I'd say the special weapons in Splatoon 1 are way better than the other two games, at least especially compared to Splatoon 2. And in general, the games just play differently. Of course, there's like different weapon balancing and stuff like that. There's no dualies or anything like that. They have different subs. They have the Seeker, if you guys remember that, instead of the curling bomb. But let's get into my personal experience with the game. And I'm going to be quite frank, I did not get the game at launch. I didn't have a Wii U until November of the year it came out. Of course, it came out in May of 2015. I wasn't able to get a Wii U until November of 2015, and then even then, I didn't get the game until Christmas. So it was still a while. I got it like 6 months after the game had come out, and by that point, half of the content rollout, more than that, was already out. But I did see some new content that was added after I got the game. There was 2 stages, I believe. It was Piranha Pit and Anchovy Games, which came out after I had gotten the game. I think like Mahi Mahi Resort had just come out. That was the first stage I ever played on, was Mahi Mahi Resort, I'm pretty sure. And that one I still really like that one. In fact, I pretty much like all the maps for the most part. And of course, there was also like Sheldon's Picks and stuff like that, different weapon kits. But there was also the Splatfest, and the Splatfest were fun. There was some licensed one. There was like SpongeBob versus Patrick. That was a cool one. I think the first one I did was Past versus Future. I think that was the first one I did. There was also a Miitomo Splatfest. That was weird. And of course, there was the final Splatfest, Callie versus Marie, which of course, as we know, Marie ended up winning, which, changed the whole plot of Splatoon 2, which is why people like to put, extra emphasis on the final Splatfest, which is what happened with Chaos versus Order, and of course we saw that happen with, the Splatoon 3 side order and stuff like that. Fun fact, in case you guys didn't know this, there's actually alternate cover arts for the final Splatfest. You can get Team Callie, Team Marie. These are like printable things on like Nintendo's website. I thought it was pretty cool. I printed them out myself. They don't look that good because they're printed out, instead of using whatever printing press they use for like the normal covers, but if you have a home printer, you can print these out, and they're kind of cool. I also really like the Amiibo in this game. I thought the Amiibo usage in Splatoon 1 was really good. In fact, it's my favorite Amiibo usage in any game ever. I know some people don't like it because it locks away content or whatever. Like, for example, when you use it, you unlock some different missions. Like, you can use there's different missions for the single player campaign. Like, you can use a different weapon, or you have some sort of restriction on ink usage. But after you beat all of them, you get like special gear, and of course, you also get the the little mini games you can play on the gamepad while you're waiting for a lobby, which is also playable in the plaza. There was also the Battle Dojo. Do you guys remember that? Probably not, because nobody ever used it, because it's not like local play like you would expect. Like, you can't play the turf war or anything like that. It was just 2 players, 1 person on the gamepad, 1 on the TV, and you just pop balloons to go for a high score. That was the local play for Splatoon 1. I didn't really play it because I didn't have anyone to play it with. However, I did try out the little Splatoon 1 Pro Controller mod thing, like cheat code they did. And the thing is, people joke about that, but it actually works exactly how it should, like how you would expect gyro to work with a Pro Controller. Of course, it's a little bit goofy, but, it works. And, of course, it's kind of interesting seeing Splatoon on the gamepad, because normally you can't do that. And I'm not going to get into the whole gamepad thing. I do want to make a video about the Wii U gamepad, so I'll talk about it then, but it's interesting to see Splatoon running on the gamepad, and there's a mod for that I installed that let you switch between TV and gamepad, which is how I got some of the footage for like the gamepad mini games. But of course, one of the highlights for the game for me was the private battles. Private battles, I don't know if people still do this or not, but I remember I would get my friends with like a Discord call or whatever, and we'd have like these fun little mini games. We'd play like hide and seek in there. We'd play, ink brush bumper cars or whatever, and it was always like this fun little mini games that we would do. It was always fun. We always take turns, hide and seek and stuff like that on random maps, and I don't know if people still do that in Splatoon 2 and 3, but I always remember that was fun. That was like a whole YouTube thing back then. It felt like a closer community. Of course, in that case, it kind of did, because, of course, it was on the Wii U, which was already kind of small community to begin with, but you get the idea, you know what I'm saying? Also, something I really wanted to do, and I only did this recently, I was trying to get to level 50, like last year, like 2 years ago or something, and then at that point, they temporarily shut off the servers for Splatoon, and I was like level 48. So I was like really mad. I'm like, oh, I guess I'll never be able to do it. Never be able to reach level 50. But the reason why I wasn't able to reach level 50 is because I had played until like level 32 or something like that originally on my original save file. But then I deleted the save file because I wanted to have that sense of progression again, and play things for the first time, because you play like the campaign or something. There's different dialogue if you play it the second time. So I wanted to do all that again from the beginning. Back like years ago, like 2017 or something. But I did end up getting to level 50 eventually when they put the servers back online a few months ago. So that was fun, Finally, I was reached level 50, and at level 50, of course, you get the captain's cat, the legendary cap. So that was always fun to get. And the thing about Splatoon 1 is it's the game I played the most. It has the most hours on my Wii U, and it's my favorite Splatoon game. I know Splatoon 2 and 3, some people argue it's better or not. I personally think at least Splatoon 2 is pretty much a downgrade in every way except for Octo Expansion. I don't like the maps as much. I don't like the specials as much, especially the specials. Specials kind of suck in Splatoon 2. The campaign is worse. The only thing that's better, in my opinion, is the customization and the Octo Expansion. Splatoon 3 is a lot better, and it did bring back some of the specials I really liked, like the Trizuka, that was good, the Kraken. But, of course, the specials are still much better in Splatoon 1. They work way better, in my opinion. The Ink Strike is awesome. You can just tap anywhere on the gamepad. Even the Rainmaker itself is much better, because in like Splatoon 2 and 3, like, it launches like a bomb and then explodes. Whereas in Splatoon 1, it was just a giant tornado, so that was always kind of overpowered. But that was the whole point. The point of it is being overpowered, and that's the fun part. And if it's not overpowered, it kind of ruins the fun. And yeah, Splatoon 1 is my favorite of the series. It's also my favorite Wii U game, which the Wii U is my favorite console. Splatoon 1's not my favorite game of all time, but it's definitely up there, And it's sad to see it go away. Now, of course, I do know about Pretendo. Pretendo is, in case you're unaware, which I don't see why you would be unaware at this point if you're watching this video, but in case you're unaware, Pretendo is a fan server, basically, for Wii U and 3DS games. So they added the Miiverse, so you can have Miiverse back. I think you have to mod your console to use it. But either way, it adds Miiverse back to a lot of games. I think like most games have it, and I think they just have their own Miiverse you can just look at online. But also, you can play games online, of course. The problem is you would have to reset your save file, as far as I'm aware. You might be able to like transfer it in some way, but you have to have a new account on your console in order to use those games online. Because you can't connect to the Nintendo Network, because if you're using your current account, that's a Nintendo Network ID, so you have to basically make a Pretendo Network ID, I guess. which is cool, and of course I'll be using that. I haven't installed it yet, but I am going to do that soon. But the thing is, it's obviously not the same thing as Nintendo Network. In general, most people probably who actually care about playing these games online are going to use Pretendo. Most people probably in general, you know, who just have a 3DS, they're not going to install Pretendo. So you can't just go into, you know, some Smash 3DS lobby or something and expect to find a lot of people. It's not going to happen. You now have to kind of schedule it out now. Of course, maybe for like the really big games like Mario Kart 7 or something like that, or Splatoon. Splatoon is probably the most played online game on Wii U. So that you'll probably have, you know, be able to find matches pretty easily, but some other games you're going to have to schedule it. So in general, it's not as easy as Nintendo Network would be, but Pretendo, very good. Pretty much saving the online for that game, which is very fun. But yeah, I did like Splatoon 1 a lot, and it's unfortunate to see it go, but you know, it's just one of those things. But after this, it's basically over. As far as I know, there's nothing that's supported anymore. You could still download your games, I believe, from the eShop if you already paid for them, but other than that, there's no online functionality for these consoles anymore, so just let me know what you guys think about Splatoon 1. Did you guys have fun with it? What do you think about it compared to Splatoon 1 and 2? Do you guys have fun with private battles? Are you going to use Pretendo? Just let me know in the comments, and thank you guys for watching. Peace.